Risk of Rain is a rather fun 2D platform shooter roguelike thingamajig that I really enjoy for the gameplay. But, as you might have noticed, I take a specific fondness to the story of the game. If you haven't noticed, then welcome! I like to overanalyze the lore of this game. To uncover more of the story, I look at all aspects of the game under a curious eye to understand it more. Most of the story hides in the details, and in looking for it, I found something I didn't quite expect. You see, I was looking at the Risk of Rain logs when I started noticing the shipment dates. I always were aware that they were there, but I didn't really think much about them. Just for fun I started noting them down, and I think I'm onto something in regards to when the events of this game actually happened. Let me start off by looking at where we even have any dates. That being all the item logs in the first game and some in the second. Most items have a date of when and where they are to be delivered. Looking through them all, I have found out that almost all the items are to be delivered in the year 2056, with 2 being delivered in the year 2057. This makes sense if the planets are a bit further away, so nothing groundbreaking there. So around 2056-57 is when the events of Risk of Rain 1 are happening, yeah? Maybe. There are some very weird exceptions. For example, there are a lot of items which were supposed to deliver in the 1900s. Mortar launcher, smart shopper, on Christmas as well, fitting, gold gun and some more. This doesn't disprove anything really. These items might be old ones lost in the system, as Risk of Rain 1 modder and creator of the mod loader Saturn Yoshi suggests, while Risk of Rain 2 modder Sushi Chef thinks it might have to do something with the planet's different time zones. Both are very plausible theories. What's the truth among them is unknown, but the most noteworthy item is the otherwise mediocre War Banner. It, along with the brilliant Behemoth, Warhorn and Old War Stealth Kit, are remnants of a civil war that happened in 2019. The bizarre thing is that this item is to be delivered in 1843, 176 years before the Civil War broke out. What do we make of this? Is this an error, different time zones, or even the works of time travel that many theorize the Transcendence item refers to? Hopo Games wrote all these item logs, and given the exceptions, they must have handpicked the dates for these specific items. It feels weird for me to just conclude that this is simply a mistake, although that is always a possibility. It might be an extreme case of different time zone, but that's a very big difference. Disregarding that, there are some other interesting factors in the dates. The items in Risk of Rain 1 are sorted by rarity, but they have been a bit clever with it, and the rarity corresponds to how much the shipping or the item is prioritized. So you have basic shipping, volatile shipping, priority fragile, but there's this category called field found, these yellow items. These items are very unique given the fact that they can't be found in the game's chests. You can only find these items by killing the boss and hoping it drops from them. Of these items we have the Colossal Knurl, Burning Witness, Nematocyst Nozzle, Legendary Spark, Ifrit's Horn, and Imp Overlord's Tentacle. Most of these items are to be delivered in the year 2056, which leads me to believe that the survivor who escaped the planet sent these to various places. Maybe to get rid of them after the scars of the planet, monetary gain, contribution to science, who knows. Apart from the monster logs, we really do not know much about the survivor. We know it's a bit of a curious type, but that's about it. 2 items stick out here, however. Burning Witness has no date. You decide what that means, I have no clue really. The real point of interest here is the Tentacle. It's scheduled to be delivered in 2013. Again, this may be different time zones, but I think there might be a sign that someone or something had explored either the Risk of Rain planet or the Red Plain which the Imps stem from. Somehow the humans have had contact with the Imps and managed to acquire this tentacle, which means they have visited before the events of Risk of Rain 1. Now this is incredibly fascinating, because if they found the Overlord's tentacle through the Risk of Rain planet, that means the humans had visited before the events of Risk of Rain 1. This is important because it supports the popular theory that the reason Providence strikes down your ship at the beginning of the game is because the humans have stolen something from the planet and he's wishing to retrieve it, the teleporter to be specific. But on the other hand, if the humans have went to the Red Plain and acquired this tentacle, then that means the Red Plain is accessible to humans. Given we do not know anything about the Red Plain, this is something at least. According to the Risk of Rain 1 monster log for the Imp, the Imps are actually invaders as well. They are not native to the planet. Whether they have been invading the planet for eons or have just started as we appeared is unknown. There could be a correspondence between the Imps invasion and the fact that we have acquired an Imp Overlord tentacle earlier. What this all means I'm honestly not sure, but I know it gives us a lot of speculation about the human's relationship to the creatures of this game, especially those alien to the planet just like us. Moving on to Risk of Rain 2, and there's really not that much here. We find the logs with dates also read 2056. Whether that means that the events of Risk of Rain 2 also take place in 2056, or if these are again old items lost in the system, is up to us to speculate about. The only other possible mention of dates are in the Solus Control Unit log, which lists the events from the year 3134 to 4106. On one side, these might not even be years, and are instead log numbers or such. It's always important to consider every possibility. I personally think they are years because multiple events happen within the same number, which wouldn't really fit a log, but then again I could be wrong. So, where does this leave us? When do the events take place? In my head I've created a timeline of when the major events have happened, with there being a lot of shipments in the 1900s, the Great Civil War in 2019, which I must have missed somehow, the events of Risk of Rain 1 in 2056 or 7, most likely 6, and then the events of Risk of Rain 2 shortly after. The reason I think it's shortly after is because the US Contact Light was a massive cargo ship which reported millions of chests. I believe the loss of such a ship would warrant a quick response from either a company or just local scavengers seeking a profit. In addition, someone somehow managed to acquire an Imp Overlord tentacle in 2013, and what the war banner tells us, I genuinely do not know, it's a mystery. But that's about everything I've got. So what do you all think of this? Have a theory you want to share about this whole ordeal or just something else in Risk of Rain? Constructive criticism? Anything? Just leave it down below. I read every single one and I genuinely appreciate every comment I get. Thank you so very much for watching. It means a lot to me and I hope you have a very cozy evening.